getting hustled, not getting hassled, keeping your head above water, doing away when you can, temporary layoffs, easy credit ripoffs, hanging in a chow line. 8 week, lucky we got them. Good Times was so good, huh? How good was that program? John Amos, incredible. As Mr. Evans, he was great. Incredible. Walona, Mr. Booker, JJ, Jimmy Walker, Florida Evans. Incredible. Boy, I'm going blank. Isn't that terrible, Jason? Who is Florida Evans? That's Esther Roll. Esther Roll, I mean, she's driving Miss Daisy. How good was she in that? Incredible. Esther Roll did so much good stuff. John Amos, really good, underrated. Even Penny from the Jackson family. Yep, Janet Jackson. Got a buddy of mine dating this chick. She was like a supercomputer. They're watching a Good Times episode and, you know, they come into the apartment and Walona comes in first and she's just like winded. Hands on her knees, barely can speak. Florida, you know, overdrive. Walona, what's wrong? The elevator still broken. Had to take the steps, you know. That damn Mr. Booker, when's he going to fix that elevator? And then, you know, little subplots go down and then everyone comes in. JJ, exhausted. Well, yeah, what's the other kid? Oh, I forget his name. Oh, you know, the scholar. JJ was the artist. Walona was just smoking hot. She was smart. Damn, what was the other Evans kid? It was Michael Evans. Michael comes up. He's like exhausted, winded, carrying his book sack. Go, yeah, commercial break, come back. The whole episode's this. My friend says there's like 2 minutes left in the show. Last person comes up winded and his girlfriend's like, why are they all breathing so hard? I'm pretty sure that episode was titled The Broken Elevator, but I don't know. Corey Johnson with you. Happy 4th of July weekend. Yeah, you right. Light fuse, get away. How about just get away? Jason, I am catching flack from when I was younger and was a pyrotechnic lunatic, you know, like under 15. Fireworks from like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Bottle rockets, firecrackers. That was back in the day of like the M80, an eighth of a stick of dynamite. And it literally was. I remember they toned those down. The Silver King was another like just explosive device that'll take fingers off of hands. Roman candles, all that kind of stuff. We were ruthless as kids. They'd have like the jerk neighbor, at least, you know, what us wise 8, 10, 12, 15-year-olds thought were the jerk neighbor. Could have just been some pleasant person that to us kids had a weird car, or dressed funny, or whatever. Barely enough technology to be dangerous. We were literally, we'd surround the house. Like 3 or 4 of us, maybe 5 of us. We'd have walkie-talkies. And the person like that was on the one side of the house would be like, unleash. And we'd have, you know, one of those little punks and just lighting firecrackers and bottle rockets and launching them into this neighbor's house. The neighbor might come out in the front yard and then we'd tell him to stop and then radio somebody else in the backyard. And bomb the backyard, and the neighbor runs back there. Just, obnoxious. Wake up the next day, there's just all kind of fireworks and paper all over that neighbor's house, on the roof. Almost looks like you rolled the trees, just stuff everywhere. We were ruthless. We were terrible children in that regard, picking a neighbor and attacking the house with fireworks. I guess half of it was just like we thought we were on some military operation. Anyway, this is just the reversal of that, Jason. At my age, with my dog who does not like fireworks, it's karma. Enjoy it. My neighborhood, it is like, I think they should put banners over the street. Welcome to Pyrotechnic Week. And it's not just like New Year's night. It's like 2 days leading up. New Year's night, the day after, 4th of July. It could start tonight a little. If I had to wager, will I hear a firework or more go off tonight in my neighborhood, or where I can hear it from my house? Yes. Tomorrow night should pick up a little more. Sunday night even more. And then Monday and Tuesday, the Enola Gay will fly. They will open the Bombay door and unload little boy and big boy and little man or whatever. Geesh. Anyway, yeah, it's like not a big fan of fireworks. Wouldn't mind if fireworks just sort of went away. It's almost like the junk we throw at Mardi Gras. We need to stop our addiction to this Chinese crap. Just garbage, junk, worthless. The fireworks shows out on a barge, folks, launching major expensive stuff that can be seen for miles, and beautiful choreographed fireworks shows. Love them. Arbitrary neighbors in no synchronization, just blowing up my neighborhood. Not a big fan of it. But also, that's life. United States of America. It's all illegal. We let it happen anyway. It just, I'm not complaining. I wouldn't be calling 911. You guys, you have to enforce the law and stop this fireworks. I mean, they'd be going to 100 neighborhoods in Metairie, New Orleans, St. Bernard, wherever. Are fireworks legal to shoot in St. Bernard? They might be. They're not in Orleans or Jefferson, but we do it anyway. Happy 4th of July weekend. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Essence Fest 2023. Getting cranked up, getting underway as we speak. Superdome, Convention Center, lots of celebrities, lots of seminars, lots of music, lots of concerts, lots of money. A nice economic oomph. Nice economic impact for the city of New Orleans in the middle of the ridiculously hot summer, July 4th weekend. Hotels are full, hustle and bustle at the airport, restaurants, bar rooms, music clubs. A lot of places should be slammed as Essence Fest 2023 getting underway. Lots of street closures, too, around the convention center, around the French Quarter especially. So plan ahead. Plan ahead. Hey, you heading down to Essence Fest? Best quality, best price, best selection. You got that Rouse's Market in the old Sewell Cadillac building, Barone, downtown, CBD. Right in the middle of Essence Fest. Or you can head about a mile east, Royal Orleans, French Quarter, right where Miss Kitchens plays her clarinet. They've got the Rouses in the Quarter. Best quality, best priced, best selection, tastes like home. Yeah, Essence Fest 2023, Rouses has you covered. Their CBD grocery, the only full-service grocery store in the Central Business District, Warehouse District. And then that boutique-type store in the French Quarter for decades and decades and decades, Royal Street at Orleans, right on the corner. like a New York grocery store, from your toes to above your head, chock full of all the stuff you want, all the stuff you'd expect from your neighborhood Rouse's. Rouse's Markets tastes like home. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. When we return, our usual guests, our usual suspects. Coming up next, Fletcher Mackel, Fridays with Fletch. Frank Brigtsen in the 5 o'clock powwow. Michael Hecht, 5 o'clock powwow. Fletcher Mackel next. Don't move, New Orleans.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired cheese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Oh, sounds like a little John Bro, Papa Bro's Funk. There you go. Corey Johnson back at you. Essence Festival 2023 underway. Hey, stay hydrated out there. Hate to sound like one of those commercials where, put the water in between each drink. Some of those alcoholic beverages with their responsibility commercials. But they're right. Stay hydrated. Alcohol's the opposite, kind of dehydrates you. So lots of agua. H2O, water. It's 97 degrees, feels like 104. 97 feels like 104. The good news is after this weekend, next week, and for the foreseeable future, kind of back to our normal deal, like hit the low 90s every day. Like 7-8 degrees cooler than what we're dealing with right now, and not the feels like 100 and something. Just brutal. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackel joins us. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher, what's happening, bro?
Not a lot. It's the tail end of a busy week for the WDSU sports peeps. Obviously, we had my colleagues Kendall and Sharif in Omaha, then LSU returning, then the celebration. So I'm actually at work right now because they're all off, which deservingly so. Kendall spent like 12 days in Omaha. So yeah, a lot of LSU baseball coverage.
Oh, wow. You've got television duties. Is that what you're telling us?
That's what I'm implying, is that as much as I would really love to just stay here and chew the fat with you, some of us are at our real job.
All right. Can we go till 4:48 or no?
Or 4:28. Sure.
How about 4:32? We'll compromise.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Oh, what a bummer. I had a lot of stuff to talk to you about. Starting off with that lame cookie thing somebody gave your brother. 20 years at DSU. I'd be like, hey, guys, it's called money, a bonus. Give me a box of wine. Give me some airline tickets. I don't want the chocolate chip cookie 20 years. Jeesh. All right, I'm joking, Fletch. That is a nice honor, though, huh? 20 years for your bro at Channel 6?
Yeah, very nice. 20 years today. And nobody knows what people's tastes are. So, yeah. So I think it's funny. The cake at work is always safe. Everybody will take a piece of cake.
Yep. Yeah. It's cake or a chocolate chip cookie?
Is it a chocolate chip cookie cake? So,
gotcha. Yeah. One tray has 20 on it, and the other tray says WDSU. And Travers is holding them in the newsroom, and someone took a photograph. Travers Mackel, 20 years at Channel 6. I thought he beat you to Channel 6. You beat him to Channel 6?
I did by like 9 months.
Gotcha. So when did you get a 20-year cake too?
Last year. Yep.
Same thing?
They do like 20, 25, 30.
Yeah.
Like 10 and 15, you get like an amazing, fabulous achievement. But once you hit 20, there 20, 25, and then anything after that, like 30, 40. Margaret Orr's at 43, so they have like a party for her when she hit 40 years here.
Yep.
So yeah. So
did you get a chocolate chip cookie cake on the tray as well?
I did not. I think my cake last year, was like just more of like a birthday cake type deal.
Were you holding it up with a photo taken?
I'm sure if you look at social media, I was, yeah.
Could you repost that with your brothers together, and you could post it saying, me last year, my brother this year?
I could go dig it back up. You're giving me a few ideas, sure.
All right. I'm just trying to help. That was some really good coverage all week long. You guys really busted your tails with Omaha, Baton Rouge, and then that special for the big party on Wednesday night.
Yeah, no, thank you. It has definitely been, like I said, a long week. But, here's the thing. Like, I could have a regular job. I'm not going to exactly complain about getting to go cover the LSU celebration.
Yep.
and being live on the field talking to Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz and the governor. I mean, it's a pretty good gig. But like long hours. I mean, we left at noon on Wednesday and didn't get back to like 1 a.m. once our coverage and newscast ended. But well worth it because it was a great time.
What an incredible week and a half. I mean, there's been 6 other national titles for LSU, but just the playing on Monday, losing Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Saturday night, Sunday, Monday night. Just a hell of a week for the team, hell of a week for LSU fans. Perfect timing, the heat of the summer, a kind of a lull period, excitement every night.
It was great. I mean, 8 games in 10 days. Look, don't get me started. We talked about it a little bit last week. I could go off on the College World Series and how just horrifically awful the leadership at college baseball in the NCAA. Look, the NCAA is a joke, and we've learned that the last few years with NIL, how they've handled things over the last 20 years. I like NIL, but the fact that the NCAA was just awful from top to bottom in every regard, handling major decisions.
This is it in a nutshell. LSU had a 3-game series, so it went to the max against Florida, right?
Well, here's the thing. So,
right? Am I right? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. And Skeens pitched how many innings of great baseball during that 3-game series, Fletch?
None. It's insane. It's insane.
It's crazy.
So, like, you've got a sport that starts in February and ends at the end of May, right? At the beginning of June. And all season long, you play 3-game weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you get into your conference tournament, and it's a double elimination week-long tournament. I don't love it, but I guess you have to do it. Then you've got regionals, and the super regional, the most important regional to go to Omaha, is the best 2 of 3. Then you get to Omaha, and you have to do a double elimination tournament immediately into a best 2 of 3. So a team like LSU got the worst-case scenario, 8 games in 10 days. It's just like the fact that you would do that and think it's normal and think that this is an awesome national championship. That would have been like telling the LSU Tigers football team, hey guys, guess what? You played Oklahoma in a playoff game on Saturday. The national championship is on Tuesday night. Joe Burrow, if you're banged up, we don't care. Get out there and play. And if you can't play, that's how we do it. That's the way the ball bounced. And so it shows how inconsequential. And I say this in an upset, sad way. College football is king. College basketball is right behind it. Women's basketball is next. And nothing else matters. And don't ever let anybody tell you differently. I love college baseball, but the leaders of college baseball, it's a niche sport. They keep it a niche sport, and they are just awful the way they have the World Series set up.
Now, the only suggestion I would have is you have the regional, you have the super regional, then maybe you have like a weekend 1 in Omaha where you get the 8 down to 4 or to 2. Then you have a week later in Omaha, that's your College World Series with 2 teams. And that way you have Skeens pitching in the regional, Skeens pitching in the super regional, Skeens pitching in the first round in Omaha, Skeens pitching the next weekend.
Let me throw this out there. It's not even that complicated. Here's the thing. They could have super regionals, okay? Because the super regionals produce 8 teams, okay? You could have what you'd call the elite regional after that, or the World Series regional after that, and go from 8 to 4 and bring 4 teams to Omaha. And you could have the semifinals be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if necessary. Everybody gets Tuesday and Wednesday off. And then the national championship series is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if necessary. You've done it all in a week, 1 week total, semifinal and national championship. Fair as can be, both 2 out of 3, 4 teams go. But here's the thing. Because this isn't a really bet in the NCAA, doesn't like baseball and refuses to take baseball seriously, it's a tourism event. Omaha would go nuts if they only got 4 teams.
No. That's why I was saying you'd have a double weekend. Right. You know, that's what I was suggesting. I wouldn't want to screw over Omaha. I mean, so the thing that yells to me is this weekend should be the finals. It's the 4th of July weekend. Why wouldn't you have America, apple pie, baseball? Why wouldn't college baseball want to have the culmination of their sport over the 4th of July weekend in the heartland of Omaha? To miss it by a week is mind-blowing to me.
Look, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I also don't think, like right now, the championship series goes 10 days. If you want to extend it to 2 weeks or longer.
Not extend it. Then just start the season a week later. Just have it all culminate over the July 4th weekend.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just talking about the overall format. And what you just said, it's not fair to Omaha. You're right, because it's a tourist event. It's not a real – baseball isn't real like football and basketball, unfortunately. And the NCAA, despite the fact that the sport has grown, the TV ratings are off the charts, and schools are investing more money, does not take baseball seriously.
Yep.
And therefore, just what you said, you can't do that to Omaha. Well,
nope.
You can. Like when we play college football national championships, they don't say you can't do that to Miami or New Orleans or LA.
No, you're right. You're right. They just built a new stadium. It was a lot of it geared towards that. Hey, Fletch, it's almost 32 after. Next week, we'll talk a little bit about Scott Woodward, Midas up at LSU, and fading the football season. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you. Scott Woodward has been awesome.
Yep. He's the Midas man. Everything turns to gold. Coming right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Milwaukee Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. Since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality management, more products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitive prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a education. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. It's brutal out there, 97 degrees, feels like 104. 97, feels like 104. Stay hydrated, lots of water. Hey, coming up in about 45 minutes, 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Frank Brigtsen's going to join us from the Carrollton section of Uptown, from his restaurant, Brigtsen's, almost 40 years. A little after 5:30, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. That segment's always brought to you by E.L.I.T.E, the global manufacturing giant. You know, you come down River Road, you got E.L.I.T.E Lane. The next street is Plantation. They need to change Plantation to Interlocks. That's the all-plastic modular conveyor belts that E.L.I.T.E invented, that J.M. Lepere invented. He invented the shrimp peeling machine, needed a superior conveyor belt system for that shrimp peeling machine, and invented the all-plastic modular conveyor belt, and the rest is history. Imagine the old school, like, spiral notebooks. Imagine a spiral notebook made out of plastic, solid piece of plastic, and the spiral is plastic. You remember you could take 2 notebooks and put them together, you jam a pencil together through the 2 spirals, and the notebooks would, hold together and flop around, whatever. That's what J.M. Lepere did. He took 2 plastic boards with spirals, essentially, overlapped the spirals, and then ran an extruded plastic rod through that spiral to hold them together. All plastic modular conveyor belt system used all around the world. Interlocks. Yeah, it's a culture of innovation over there at E.L.I.T.E. I was on Plantation, which should be called Interlocks. And that street has these signposts now with little arrows like pointing to different, divisions of E.L.I.T.E. Machine shop, Digicourse, Interlocks, E.L.I.T.E. I mean, just Lepere Stair. Just amazing. It's pretty cool. 80-acre campus. So big, they've crossed Jefferson Highway over on Distributors Row now. And they're on the North Shore on I-12. And they're hiring. For a full listing of positions available, go to Leitram.com. Leitram spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Leitram.com. If New Orleans had a dozen Leitrams, we'd be like Austin or Nashville. I'm not a big fan. No offense, you folks coming in from Austin and Nashville for Essence Fest. Not a big fan of those places. Liked them better when they were smaller and had culture. But what I do like about them, their economy, their growth, their magnetism, drawing college graduates from around the country to Austin and Nashville. They've sort of joined Atlanta, Houston, Dallas on this enormous growth spurt in the South and in Texas. Charlotte, just explosive growth the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 40, 50 years when you get into Atlanta, Dallas, Houston. The last 20, 30 when you get into like the kind of Charlotte started it, but Nashville and Austin the last few decades have been on a tear. On a tear. Cranes in the sky everywhere in all those cities I mentioned, especially Austin and Nashville. Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, it's continuous. Always cranes in the sky for decades now. Decades. But boy, Austin and Nashville, explosive growth. No, not big fans of those sort of, no offense if you're from any of those cities, sort of cultureless cities. But I'm a fan of their economies. There's no doubt about it. Michael Hecht, in an hour, we talk about the New Orleans economy, which could really use some help. It is sort of mind-boggling the last 40 plus years. The South, the fastest growing region in the country. Texas, the fastest growing state in the country. We're literally surrounded by it. And we didn't miss the boat. We missed the rocket ship. Should I rewind and discuss those cities and their explosive growth and their economies and all that good stuff again? Westbound I-10, right outside of Baton Rouge, buckling from the heat earlier today. One lane of 3 lanes, fairly new interstate right there. Actually, I should correct myself. I made an assumption, Jason. It could be the old interstate where it's 2 lanes still. I know it's Ascension Parish, but I think it's, East Baton Rouge heading east on I-10, where they 3-laned it pretty much right into Ascension Parish. So reading the article from a couple of different outlets, it sounded like it's the 3-lane part, but I'm not sure. It could be the old 2-lane part, not the new construction. Regardless, one of the either 2 or 3 lanes in that part of the I-10, right on the edge of Baton Rouge where it turns into Ascension Parish, westbound on I-10, heading into Baton Rouge. Yeah, the heat buckled the interstate where it was dangerous, like a big lip. They had to, direct cars around it. Backed up traffic for miles earlier today, but I guess they came in and clipped down that concrete and laid down some kind of quick fix. But it is reportedly back open again. But no, that's how severe the heat is, where the road is buckling. The road is buckling. It's expanding so much from the heat that it is literally can't fit in the space. Pops up. Crazy. Yeah, 97 feels like 104. Hey, happy 4th of July weekend. Some advice? Light fuse. Get away. Essence Fest 2023 getting underway as we speak. Superdome, concerts tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday night, convention center, seminars, lots of speakers, celebrity guests, lots of folks in town, a great economic impact during this lull period for the city. Corey Johnson with you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. How about Katie's in Mid-City? Hey, why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now? As New Orleans as it gets. Iberville, corner Telemachus. That's in between Bienville and Canal Street. That's in between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway. Get over to Katie's tonight for dinner. Maybe hit Angelo Bracata's on Carrollton for a little dessert. Can't go wrong with that. Don't forget about Scott Craig's other place in Lakeview, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria, a real deli with about 15 deli sandwiches right off the menu to choose from. Or like any quality high-end deli, build your own sandwich. Pick the bread, the meat, the dressing, the cheese, the extras. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria, Harrison Avenue, in between Canal Boulevard and West End, in the old Charlie's Deli location. And a mid-city mainstay, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, Katie's in mid-city. It just works out this way. I've got a handful of restaurants where, you know, you want to avoid tourists and traffic and clutter and congestion. You want to avoid the Bywater. You want to avoid the Marigny. You want to avoid the Quarter. You want to avoid the Warehouse District, the CBD, because of Essence Festival. But you want to enjoy, you know, good food and stuff. No, I just mentioned Katie's. Lebanon's Cafe is another good one that's off the beaten path as far as tourist-oriented. Carrollton at Jeanette by the Streetcar Barn in Uptown. You can't go wrong there. Fausto's Italian Bistro, Sicilian and Italian, about 6 blocks in from the Parish line on Vets. How can you go wrong at Fausto's? You can't. What else we got? Trey Yen in Mandeville. Some of the best Chinese food in America. And, you know, folks are like, Mandeville, the North Shore, I'm not going there. It's 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center. There's no driving on the North Shore. You cross that Causeway Bridge immediately on your left. Trey Yen. So, yeah, Trey Yen, great Chinese food. You'll love it. Great seafood at Trey Yen. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Lebanon's Cafe. Some of the best Middle Eastern food anywhere. And yeah, Katie's. All of these places are away from tourists, away from the clutter, away from the congestion. And they're all as good as it gets. Lebanon's finest Middle Eastern. Fausto's finest Sicilian and Italian. Trey Yen, best in Chinese. Katie's, New Orleans food. Francesca, best deli. Both Katie's and Francesca, killer pizza too. Corey Johnson with you. Happy 4th of July weekend. Essence Fest 2023. They're rolling as we speak. Hey, you folks in from out of town, seeking, scanning the radio dial, you found the right spot. Where New Orleans Talks, telling it like it is every weekday, 4 to 6. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The sounds of New Orleans. It must be Corey Johnson on the neutral ground. Yeah, you're right, Crescent City. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Happy 4th of July weekend. Essence Fest rolling through Monday. Getting underway as we speak at the Superdome, the Convention Center, French Quarter, CBD, Warehouse District. It's Essence Fest 2023. Hey, Frank Brigtsen's going to join us in about 25 minutes. We do it every Friday around 5:20. We go to the Riverbend. We go to Uptown New Orleans, the Carrollton neighborhood. We go to Brigtsen's restaurant. Nearly 40 years in that little Creole cottage. Frank, his wife Marna, Marna's 2 sisters. I mean, literally a family affair at Brigtsen's. Chef Larry, so many great cooks and such a great support staff and passionate, informative wait staff that is insanely knowledgeable and helpful. You won't be disappointed if you head to Brigtsen's. It really is good. Frank Brigtsen joins us. It isn't really to promote his restaurant. He joins us just to talk food and which season it is and what's fading out, crawfish, what's coming in, shrimp, things like that. Things like that. Frank Brigtsen at 5:20. No, I mean, when I think about New Orleans, it's like I told my buddy in Florida who is doing ridiculously well, building a resort essentially that's a few $100 million down on Highway 38, right past Destin. West Bank guy. Went to high school with another buddy of mine who I'm even closer with, one of my best friends. Those two grew up together. He's working for him. They're like, dude, come to Florida, make more money, don't have to worry about crime and crazy city and come to the Panhandle, all that. I was like, guys, I love coming to the Panhandle. I love the beach. I love coming down here on vacation and getting away. So there's only one problem. Well, actually 6. I'm a native New Orleanian. So I guess it's just ingrained in me. I like architecture. I like history. I like culture. I like music. I like food. And I like people. No offense, but the transient Florida Panhandle resort area has none of those 6 things in the least bit. It doesn't have any history. It has no architecture, 0. No history, no architecture. No culture, 0. There's no good music anywhere to be heard, anywhere on the Panhandle. There's almost no good food anywhere to be had, anywhere on the Panhandle, especially compared to New Orleans. No one's going to the Panhandle going, man, it's a food area, dude. And then people, like I said, it's a bunch of transients from anywhere USA, live in that house on the Panhandle about a couple of months out of the year, maybe. If they've moved down there full time, they still go somewhere else sometimes. You know, transient. It's just New Orleans, the strength is our people. And it can be a big weakness too. No, but our culture. I love the history. I mean, a third of our existence, we weren't even part of this country. We're a French colony, which is so much better than being a British colony. I mean, what would our menu look like in New Orleans if we were a British colony compared to a French colony? Spanish for 40 years. We were a colonial property of these European countries and not Britain ever, at least on the South Shore of New Orleans. No, it just gives us a unique perspective, culture, which led to great food and music and, you know, just a love of life. So, no, New Orleans is tough to beat. It's tough to beat. And moving to the Florida Panhandle, it'd be like a Tuesday afternoon or something. I'd stare out into the abyss and go, what am I doing here? But then again, I guess I'd go to like Fairbanks, Alaska if someone was paying me a ton of money, maybe, you know, for a few years. I used to think, you know, if I have a kid, I'll tell him, son, daughter, do what you love. Then it'll never be like you're working a day. Fletcher said it a little while ago. It's not like I'm working a regular job. Can't complain about covering LSU for 12 hours straight. No, it's true. Blessed. Do what you love, but as I've grown older, or do what makes a huge pile of money so you can do what you love. So you can do what you love. No matter if you love your job or not, you got to work hard. And doing what you love makes it easier. But doing something that makes you, you know, a good pile of money that gives you freedom and wherewithal to do things you love, take vacations, visit other countries, do hiking, exercising, going to exotic places, living in a nice house, sending your kids to a good school, driving nice vehicles, whatever. No, definitely do what you love if that's first and foremost. Or do something that you like or is okay, you can get by doing that. You make a lot of money, so you have the wherewithal to do what you love. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, I mentioned Frank Brigtsen joining us. Leidenheimer French bread at Brigtsen's. A lot of the finest restaurants in the city. Leidenheimer French bread. The best po' boys in the city. Leidenheimer French bread. 1896, over 125 years. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer Baking Company. What's that, Blue Boy? Stick around. 5 o'clock power hour is next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the E.L.I.T.E family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a E.L.I.T.E company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasendampf Incorporated.
You asked for it and you got it. The Nutriground with Corey Johnson will not be seen or heard in the 5 o'clock power hour on this Friday. Instead, Laverne and Shirley rerun. That's right. We're going back in time, 45 years to that Milwaukee brewery. It's Laverne, it's Shirley. It's Laverne and Shirley coming your way next. Season 3, Episode 5, Season 9, Episode 2. Coming your way next. To La Jolla, California, Mr. Drew Brees, number 9. Damn Skippy, it is not Milwaukee. This isn't a brewery. It's the Neutral Ground. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. How nice is that? Happy 4th of July weekend. Happy Essence Fest 2023 getting underway. Really started yesterday. Vice President Kamala Harris was in town. A lot of dignitaries in town. How about Janet Yellen, the Secretary of the Treasury, going to Domalices today, getting a po' boy uptown on Annunciation at Domalices. I was there like 2 days ago, getting a shrimp po' boy at Domalices and a Barks. Had to get the Barks root beer and the shrimp poor boy sandwich. Domalices has got a really good shrimp po' boy. Those ladies in there know what they're doing. How did Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen know to come into Domalices and eat? There was a reserved note sheet of paper that said reserved on one of the tables at Domalices. That never, ever happens. If I were to see that, I'd be like, wow, Eli and Peyton Manning, Archie, Cooper are coming to Domalices, something like that. The Mannings, something like that. No, it was Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen. I wonder who turned her on to Domalices. Because that's not just your typical New Orleans spot. Can you find an article for tourists that might mention Domalices? Yes. I would think it would be easier to find like a Hanson Snow Blizz article for tourists than Domalices. Now, I think that's a great spot to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm just wondering, how did she know to go there? Because that's about as New Orleans as it gets. Yeah, happy 4th of July. Happy Essence Fest. Westbound I-10 right outside of Baton Rouge, buckling earlier today from the heat. Right outside of BR, westbound I-10 heading into Baton Rouge. Had to shut things down. Traffic backed up for miles. They got it straight. I don't know what they did. If they have to fill a hole, you just kind of clip where it kind of buckled. And then I guess when it cools, like in September, October, where we're not in this oppressive heat, where I guess the road expanded, there'll be a hole in between those two panels that they'll have to go back and fill in. I don't know what they did, but they got it going, traffic flowing again fairly quickly. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. I love this time of the week on a Friday, a little after 5 p.m. Pretty much for 90% of the population, I'd guess. The work week in the books. Little after 5 p.m. on a Friday. The weekend smack dab in front of us. I like smelling the roses. I don't want to overlook this period. I want to put a spotlight on it. We do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. 5 o'clock whistle appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. A taste of New Orleans. Big portions, great for sharing. New Orleans specialties, old school. More is better. More of the good things. 5 o'clock whistle brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. I love the 5 o'clock whistle. There she blows. It is hot out there. 97 degrees feels like 104. 97 feels like 104. Stay hydrated. Lots of agua. I just took a big sip. I'm going to take another one. Lots of agua. There goes Jason. He's chugging the water. No, you got to stay hydrated. Dangerous when it's 97 feels like 104. You folks moving around at Essence Fest downtown, going from the quarter to the CBD, from your hotel room to the restaurant, from a seminar to the bar, from concert in the Dome to, stay hydrated. Moving around physically, walking around. You're enjoying the city. You're enjoying yourself. You might walk 6, 8, 10 blocks a mile, not even know it. And it's 97, feels like 104. So hydrate up. The smart thing to do. Hey, in less than 10 minutes, we're going to the Carrollton section of Uptown, the Riverbend, Dante Street, about 50 feet off Leak Avenue, River Road, right on the Mississippi River. We're going to Brigtsen's restaurant. Frank Brigtsen joins us. Same bat channel, same bat time. We do it just about every Friday, 5:20. Go to that Creole cottage in Uptown and see what's cooking. I mean, Frank Brigtsen is a chef for 50 years. His restaurant, Brigtsen's, for nearly 40. Award-winning, like James Beard award-winning chef. And the beautiful thing about Frank Brigtsen, besides being kind enough to come on the program and sharing a ridiculous wealth of knowledge and experience with South Louisiana food and beyond, just a humble cat. Just a real humble guy, just cool, nice, friendly guy, loves people, loves to give back. That's why he teaches. That's why he shares. And that's why Brigtsen's is so good. And for what it is, I mean, as high-end a restaurant as you're going to get, moderately priced, more than priced right, very reasonable for what you're getting. Frank Brigtsen joining us in less than 10 minutes, a little over 5 minutes away. Coming up in about 20 minutes, about 15 minutes, Michael Hecht's going to join us from Greater New Orleans, Inc., right after Frank Brigtsen joins us. Hopefully some good economic news from Michael Hecht. Get our economy going in the right direction. Yeah, it is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Fridays with Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Channel 6, talk a little sports, getting us up to date on the LSU baseball team, the national champions. Yeah, I don't do sports talk anymore. Stopped pretty much around 05. So for nearly 20 years, it's been kind of a non-sports talk type show. But on Mondays, I get Brett Martell on from the Associated Press. I still love sports. Get him on for a good 10, 12, 15 minutes and kind of look back on the weekend, what's going on with the local teams, LSU, Tulane, UNO, Saints, Pels, whatever. Then on Fridays, same deal, about 10, 12, 15 minutes, Fletcher Mackel, get a little preview, a look back at what's going on during the week. That's about it. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Helm Paint and Decorating's been with you for over half a century. It's New Orleans paint store. Folks like to claim things like that. We're New Orleans this. No, you're not. Barely a tradition, barely been around. Folks don't know who you are. You're not a tradition. Helm Paint and Decorating, everyone knows Helm Paint. Everybody. New Orleanians that know, go to these guys. You don't go to the big box store. You don't go to some national chain. You go get high quality Benjamin Moore products, the inventors of color paint. You go to Helm Paint and Decorating. So when you have that paint project, you do it once, you do it right, so you don't ever have to do it again. But because Helm Paint and Decorating is affordable, you want to change the color down the road, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, no problem. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Plus, free 2-hour delivery so you can keep working. You can pick all your colors, do it all online, call one of the 7 locations within 2 hours. All your paint, all your supplies, all the extras, brushes, rollers, whatever you need, delivered right to your project spot. New Orleans paint store since 1969, Helm Paint and Decorating. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of program. Extended 4th of July weekend, Essence Fest going on. When we come back, Frank Brigtsen talking food. Don't move.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson. Happy 4th of July weekend, an extended weekend for many. Monday's the 3rd, Tuesday the 4th. A lot of folks have a 4-day weekend, even longer. Essence Festival 2023 getting underway as we speak. Superdome Convention Center. They'll roll through Sunday night, even into Monday. It's hot out there. 97 feels like 104. Speaking of hot, guys, is it time to get her that gift, get you out of the doghouse? Time to get her diamonds. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelet, diamond necklace. New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Real diamonds, natural diamonds, a billion with a B, a billion years old. Not 3-week-old, man-made, lab-created diamonds flooding the market from China. Unlimited supply, depreciate in value. How about real natural diamonds? Finite supply and appreciate in value. Real diamonds, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. That's in the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown. That's where Brigtsen's restaurant is for nearly 40 years in that Creole cottage on Dante Street. James Beard award-winning chef Frank Brigtsen joins us on the program again. What's happening, Frank?
Well, yeah, Corey. GG.
Happy 4th of July, Essence Fest. It's all coming to a head. And for Frank Brigtsen and Brigtsen's restaurant, that means the week off coming up.
Yeah, we're taking our vacation next week. We'll be open tomorrow night and then close for a week and back on Tuesday, July 11th.
Tuesday through Saturday nights, about 5 p.m. to 8:30. Tuesday through Saturday night, Brigtsen's restaurant. This Tuesday through Saturday night, as is tradition, they shut it down and Frank heads and family on vacation. How many years have you been shutting down that 4th of July week after the 4th, Frank?
Well, actually, the week we shut down changes each year. Marna chooses the week. This year it happens to fall on the 4th. And that's fine. But we give everybody a break together so that we all come back refreshed and recharged.
All right, with the 4th of July holiday, a lot of folks getting out of town, one side of me is like, man, there might be some openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigtsen's. And then with Essence Fest 2023 in town and folks coming in from all around the country, I kind of think you might be booked up tonight and tomorrow night.
I think there might be a little spot or two. Give Marna a call. I think we got room for a couple tables both nights.
Wow. 861-7610. Are you kidding me? Essence Fest weekend, and you've got a couple of tables available tonight and tomorrow night at Brigtsen's. Get on it, New Orleans. 861-7610. You know what's great about Brigtsen's too, New Orleans? It's in the Riverbend on Dante Street. You Jefferson Parish, Old Metairie, Old Jefferson. If you can get to Causeway and River Road, you're less than 5 minutes from Brigtsen's. Uptown folks, mid-city folks, right up Carrollton. And Frank, off the tourism path. So not near the quarter or CBD or warehouse district. Folks maybe want to get a great bite to eat, but don't want to, deal with the congestion of, tourism and conventioneers and Essence Fest. They can head to Brigtsen's and no traffic, easy parking.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the reasons I chose this location, Corey, because it is accessible from everywhere in the city, including outlying suburbs like Metairie, River Ridge, Kenner. And we have off-street parking right there in Dante Village. We are part of Dante Village, so you have use of that lot, and a few steps from the front door. It's really fun for me to hear visitors coming to New Orleans for the first time, or they come to some event like Essence in the French Quarter downtown, and they can get out of this main part of the city and see the neighborhoods of New Orleans, like St. Charles Avenue, which is the heart of the city, and Maple Street. I love, by the way. I love all the independent businesses on Maple Street. It's so old New Orleans to me. I used to live on Maple, actually, and I just love that whole vibe there. So many good things, restaurants too.
Yep, I lived on Hillary and Maple myself, Frank, and that's my favorite neighborhood, the Carrollton neighborhood. You've got Maple Street, you got Willow Street, you got Oak Street, you got the Riverbend where you are. It is a little town.
It actually is, and it used to be the city of Carrollton back in the day, as you know. It was one of the first suburbs of the city, and I lived at Maple and Cherokee right across from Phillips Pizza.
Yeah, nice. Now you come down Maple, and that house about 4 blocks down from there on the right, that's on the little hill, that was the mayor of Carrollton's house. And then the old Ben Franklin School, now the retired living place they just redid, that they added the 2 wings on either side, the big Gallier-looking architectural building with the columns, that was the old city hall and courthouse and all that.
I love that building.
Yep, they did a good job with the redo, turning it into that, retired living community thing. It's whole block redone.
Great idea.
Frank, that Carrollton neighborhood, more good restaurants than maybe Metairie.
It's really a diverse restaurant community. One of my favorite spots on Maple Street is a place called Bi-partisan, which is Vietnamese food. Oh my gosh, so delicious. And there's, just everything from Lebanon to Brigtsen to Bao-Chi. So
right next to Bao-Chi is Coat Suit. You got Jamila's down the street. You got Maple Street Cafe. I guess Phillips is still rolling with pizza and fried chicken, I guess.
I guess. I'm pretty sure it's open. It's been renovated, so must still be active. But you can just walk up and down Maple Street on a weeknight and a weekend night and have all the fun you want.
Yep. And if you continue up Maple and you cross over Carrollton and you go about, a block in will get you by Dante, I guess. Or not Dante. What's the street with the little split where, before you? What is that? Dublin. Yeah, you'll come with Dublin with the little boulevard behind the shopping center, behind the Baskin Robbins. And then one more block is Dante. Hook a left. About 50 feet down on your left is Brigtsen's. What you got cooking tonight?
Well, I'm not saying it's hot, Corey, but
it's hot.
We just put our skillets out on the concrete driveway. We're cooking right there. So
it's like the army cooking in the desert on the hoods of the Jeep.
Yeesh. It's brutal, man. I told my staff that they don't have to wear chef jackets this weekend. They can just wear a shirt. That's fine. But anyway, we're rolling with a full menu. New appetizer that's selling really well is a chilled crab meat appetizer called crab meat creolaise, which is a mustard sauce, and it's claw and jumbo lump tossed with this Creole and yellow mustard sauce, delicious. Set on top of a slice of Creole tomato and garnished with pickled beets.
I know the Creole tomato is going to be room temperature. Is the crab meat like refrigerator temperature?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the crab meat's ice cold. Well,
wow.
It's chilled.
Wow.
And that's a great way to start a meal right now in this summer heat.
Are you kidding me? A big Creole tomato with that on top? Wow.
It's so darn good. And we sold a lot of barbecue shrimp last night. We're getting big, beautiful white shrimp, naturally. Chef Crystal is going to the shrimp lot each day and seeing Miss D and getting the best shrimp you can possibly imagine.
And folks, when you get the barbecue shrimp at Brigtsen's, it's the best of both worlds. They are peeled. You just eat them. And then folks that are like, yeah, Corey, but the tail and the head's so much flavor, you can't do that. Well, when Frank prepares the, beginning steps of that dish, right, Chef? You got the tails and the head in there. You're just working that into it before, so folks don't have to peel and get all dirty, and you lose zero flavor.
That's right. A lot of the flavor in barbecue shrimp comes from the heads, where the shrimp fat is, what we call shrimp fat. And so we peel the shrimp and then make a shrimp stock with those shrimp heads and tails, and we use that to make the sauce. So it's not an oily butter sauce. It's an emulsified butter sauce. So a little bit of stock and butter to make it more creamy in texture. And cooked over high heat with black pepper and rosemary and garlic, Leon Perrins, a beet of beer, and the shrimp stock and mo butter.
Yep. And folks will take that Leidenheimer French bread and sop up the sauce like the plate could be put back, on the shelf to be used again. And then it's the little corn fritter thing that kind of smooths everything out, right?
Yeah, that's our shrimp kala, which is a Creole rice fritter. It's like a little pancake made with cooked rice and diced cooked shrimp, and we put that on the flat top griddle so it gets a little crispy on both sides. And that's great to sop up all that good peppery butter sauce. And the bread, you got to have the bread.
Well, I mean, plus
a friend of mine brought in her daughter, who's so adorable, last night. She's about 4 years old. She's been here once before. So she came to see Uncle Frankie in the fancy restaurant. And she said, Karen, what do you want for dinner? She said, bread and butter and chocolate cake.
Nice. That's a pretty good dinner, especially that room temperature butter. I could sit there and eat that all day. I have to stop because I'm like, I got soup coming, or I got gumbo, or I got salad, or I got an appetizer and an entree. I want to get pecan pie. I want to get creme brulee, something. Better stop eating this bread. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. She said Uncle Frankie has the best butter.
Yep, it is. It's damn good. It's addictive. It is addictive. 861-7610 is the phone number at Brigtsen's. 861-7610. A couple of tables left for tonight and tomorrow night, surprisingly. Get to Brigtsen's, 861-7610. Hey, Frank, until next week, any final thoughts?
White chocolate bread pudding this weekend.
Oh, boy.
We just made the sauce for that, so that's on my mind.
What's that all about? Explain that one.
Well, the way I work, I try and build in flavors like the shrimp stock and the barbecue shrimp. So if I'm making white chocolate bread pudding, I'm not just going to throw in some white chocolate chips. So we take the milk, the custard for the bread pudding is eggs and milk. We take the milk and melt white chocolate into it, so the custard itself tastes like white chocolate. And then the sauce is cream and white chocolate just melted together. So it'll make your eyes cross. It's so good.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Frank, always a pleasure, man. Love having you on the program.
Thank you, Corey. Have a safe and happy 4th of July, y'all. And I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks, Frank. We won't be doing it next Friday. Going to let you enjoy that vacation. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Corey. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Yeah, you're right. That's Frank Brigtsen. They're open Tuesday through Saturday night, 5 to 8:30. Next week, they take the week off. Frank's been doing that 4th of July weekend, after the 4th, really. Open tonight till about 8:30 or 9. Open tomorrow night about 8:30 or 9. And shockingly, there are some tables available. What a blessing. If you're listening or watching this program right now and you want to treat yourself to a fantastic dinner, call Brigtsen's right now and book one of those reservations. 861-7610. 861-7610. Brigtsen's over there in the Riverbend. We go from Frank Brigtsen, James Beard Award winner, to Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. This segment always brought to you by E.L.I.T.E, the global manufacturing giant. Michael, how you doing, man? Boy, is Brigtsen's good or what?
From the penthouse to the basement. That's what you just did, Corey.
Well, no, that would be a Fletcher Mackel to a Michael Hecht.
Why are you so mean to Fletch? He had it all laid out. We were going to send Zion to Charlotte. We were going to take Scoot. It was going to be the best of all possible worlds.
I don't know, man. I'm a pretty laid back dude, but I hate those Mackel twins. I don't like them at all. I hate them both, Travers and Fletcher. No, I love both those guys. I've, been friendly, for 25 years with them. Yaddy New Orleans characters. We just hit it off right away. So, I got to just bust on Fletcher's chops to keep him honest.
Yeah, he does suffer from the deadly sin of pride, doesn't he?
No, I don't know if it's pride so much. I think he's got some kind of mental illness with the Twitter where he's posting, the maroon coat or the green coat, different outfits. He scares me sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're a good friend to have the sense of responsibility. Most people would just let it go, but the fact that you are there for him and that you're able to speak the hard truth, So
plus Miss Mackel sends me a check every week for having him on the program.
Yeah, well, that's one of those great federal programs that we can't cut. It's important,
There's a rumor Fletcher and Travers aren't paid by Channel 6. All right, you ready to jump into it, Michael?
Please.
Hey, another win for win with a D on the end.
Yeah, so, what's going on with wind is exciting in Louisiana. We've got this really bipartisan, strong momentum, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. And we're pleased about that. So what's going to be happening next is that we're going to be getting these leases going for wind. You're going to have one off the coast of Lake Charles, one off the coast of Texas, and we're going to eventually have both federal and state wind happening for us in the Gulf. We're also, and this is actually important, going to be having us being the supply chain for the East Coast. So the fact that the feds have approved that we can do wind farms in the Gulf without major impact on the environment is significant. But at the same time, we're going to be building the wind farms for the rest of the country. So we're kind of going to have a win-win for wind, I guess you could say.
Nice. Michael, what is E.L.I.T.E? The engine, it's an acronym, the Engine for Louisiana Innovation and Transition of Energy, E.L.I.T.E.
Yeah, so it is another grant that we are applying for. And it's one that would be it would work with our Ace to the Future because it's 150, if I remember, $160 million federal grant to support energy transition and decarbonization. And LSU, I think, has just been named a finalist. They're leading a consortium. And what's exciting about that is that it shows that Louisiana can be an all-of-the-above clean energy state of the future. We're going to still be an energy state, but we're going to be diversified. And then we're going to be cleaner, whether it's oil or natural gas or wind or hydrogen. And so the fact that we're being recognized by this and the fact that LSU, as our flagship university, is a leader in it, augurs well for us continuing this legacy. I mean, you know why the Saints are black and gold, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. John Meekum, Texas Tea. Yeah, gold, our oil and gas industry.
Exactly. You know why they're called the Saints?
Well, I guess it was All Saints Day when we got the team, maybe?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it wasn't irony. It was because it was All Saints Day. That's right. It's actually true.
Yep.
But, yeah, so anyways, yeah, so good things going on. And this grant, which we're a finalist for, I think is another piece of momentum for us.
Black Gold, Texas Tea. That's good stuff. Michael, Dave Dixon, what an underappreciated New Orleanian. We know all the basics: Saints, Superdome, USFL, World Team Tennis, antique stores in the quarter. Doesn't get any kind of props for civil rights. He was one of the great civil rights leaders in New Orleans with, doing it indirectly, kind of non-overtly by, you want NFL? Got to integrate, you want these events? You got to integrate. He really was ahead of his time.
Yeah, no, he's a guy. It's really interesting when you think about all the things that he did between the Saints. I had forgotten about the USFL. You're right, but the USFL as well. And I knew about the tennis. I mean, he was somebody who wasn't just a businessman and a sports executive, but he was able to execute, get things done. And I think that's what makes him so special. That's really, really interesting you bring up Dixon, but you're right.
Yep, he was a great New Orleanian. Hey, bipartisan support on a federal level for flood insurance. Am I dreaming?
Well, no, you're not dreaming, because at the end of the day, it's a pocketbook issue. So Cassidy has been really good on this, just introducing legislation with Menendez, a Democrat out of Jersey. And the new legislation, which is going to reauthorize flood insurance, also has the possibility of doing things like affordability, transparency, all the things that we've been demanding. I think now, Corey, we're seeing enough flooding around the country, most recently in Kentucky, that there's going to be political momentum once again to get this done. So I think that we'll get some sanity injected back in NFIP over the next year or so. It might not be exactly this bill, but some version of it. We went through this a decade ago. I can kind of feel when the momentum's picking up. At the end of the day, being able to afford staying in your house is not a partisan issue, and that's why we're going to end up winning on this, even if the folks at FEMA are being recalcitrant.
Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. for a couple of more minutes on a Friday. Hey, Michael, MD Anderson, that cancer center powerhouse in Houston, I mean, world-renowned, just a incredible facility, multi-billion-dollar, attracts folks from all around the world every single day. Just amazing. They are connected with about a half dozen other hospitals around the country, relationships, just 6. Now it's 7. They've hooked up with our local powerhouse, Ochsner. Tell us about it.
It's a big deal. So the stat to know, the thing that really explains it to me, Corey, is that 1 out of every 4 people who is going to Houston is going there for medical care.
Wow.
So think about the implication of that for the economy. That's called destination healthcare. And a lot of them are from New Orleans, to be honest. So now we have this tie-up with MD Anderson, where you're going to be able to get the same research, the same clinicians that you would get in Houston, but get them here in New Orleans. And so it means that we're going to be able to get a little bit of that destination healthcare, where we're not only saving lives, which of course is first and foremost, but we're also going to be creating jobs, creating wealth, because, if you happen to be in the unfortunate situation of having a cancer diagnosis, you're going to be spending weeks with your family as you get treated. And just it's the truth of it that you're not only trying to get well, but you're staying in a hotel and your family is going to restaurants. And so it's actually big business. And the fact that Ochsner has got this tie-up now with MD Anderson it's a big deal. It's a good deal. I give a lot of credit to them for doing it, and also a lot of credit to MD Anderson for recognizing that they've got an expertise in a brand that they can expand. They don't need to just support it. They can be more than just Houston. So I think this is good for everybody.
Michael, you were talking about wind farms off our coast, trying to, stay on top of that new technology and be a part of it. Tell us about carbon capture in Louisiana.
Do you know what carbon capture is? How much have you been following this?
Yeah, I know a pretty good amount about it. I mean, I know that it's about injecting the CO2 essentially into the earth and keeping it down there instead of releasing it into the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've got in Louisiana two things that are going for us relative to carbon capture. One is that we create a shed ton of carbon because we're so industrial. But the second thing is that we've got these structures beneath our earth because of oil and because of salt domes, which are good places to inject the carbon. And this is a technology, despite what you've been reading about, that is supported by the Biden administration, supported by the United Nations. And now, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is really a climate bill, there are massive subsidies available for companies to do carbon capture. So you got the biggest oil and gas companies in the world, Shells and Chevrons, who want to do this now, as well as a lot of companies you haven't heard of that are major industrials.
Yep.
So carbon capture is a way for us in Louisiana to reduce carbon because you're taking it out of processes and out of the air, at the same time that we get a lot of job creation from construction and running of these facilities. So it's an important kind of bridge technology, and I think we're going to be leaders on it. And I think soon we're going to be granted primacy from the EPA, which means that we're going to be able to determine for ourselves whether we meet federal standards, which will make it much quicker to get these deals approved.
Michael, let's end it on a couple of topics, broadband and oyster shells. Tell us about the broadband bonanza, like $1 billion+ bucks, right?
Yeah, big deal. Big up to beneath, up in the office who runs this at the state. We just came in, we got like $1.6 billion in order to get broadband. The way it's going to work is that it's $1.6 billion to match private investments in underinvested areas. So if you're in rural Louisiana and you don't have good broadband because you don't have the fiber, you don't have the equipment, then these grants can make that happen. It's a big deal because when you think about it, well, I mean, like having broadband is like having water or electricity these days. You know, if you don't have it, you're missing.
You're right. It should be in every single corner of every single part of the United States of America for obviously primarily the people that live in those isolated areas, but for everybody else that might go into those isolated areas. Hey, what's the deal with the oyster shells? The state's going to come pick up oyster shells and give you $1 for every 50 pounds and then use those to pour back into the Gulf on our coastline and key areas to help restore the coast?
Well, you just said all my lines, Corey. That's it. Exactly. You know, and it's a great deal because why not? You know, we eat a lot of oysters. They're delicious. I'm going to Pesh tonight. I'm going to have me some oysters. And typically those things, they used to be used for roads and for the beds of the streetcars. Now they just get tossed. Well, you know, there's a beneficial use of them, which is to build reefs and to encourage marine life. So this is now basically a credit to create what I guess you could almost call as a circular economy.
Yep.
In oyster shells. And, you know, is this a game changer? No. But is it what we should be doing? You know, absolutely. So I don't mind doing the small things, right?
No, exactly. It's a natural. Boy, Pesh, that's a good joint. One of our great restaurants.
Oh, man, like Walter, I mean, Donald Link, man, you know, he's got a bad attitude, but boy, he can cook. Him and Strajewski, man. Like, you know, my favorite dish, I'm just going to say this for you. I'm going to put it, I don't know if they're a sponsor, but I'm going to put a plug in anyway. They do this thing, it's called Gulffish on the half shell. I call it Godfish. They do it over at Koshan. It's a piece of redfish broiled at 700 degrees with a little bit of olive oil and some garlic. Oh my God!
And they leave the scales on one side.
Oh yeah.
You just eat out of it like it's a bowl.
It melts in your mouth. It's healthy. Puts a little bit of pickled cabbage on that to cut the richness. It's the best bite of fish. It's you know, when God serves fish, that's what he's serving.
When he threw the net out and pulled all the fish in, almost sunk the boats, that was the dish?
Yeah, Jesus fed everybody out of the 3 loaves and 2 fish or whatever he did. I don't know. I'm Old Testament. But if they were so lucky, it was that one.
And we'll end it with, it was Leidenheimer French bread, the loaves?
Of course it was. Biblical proportions.
Michael, always a pleasure, brother. Enjoy Pesh tonight. Have a great 4th of July weekend. We'll see you in a week.
See you in a week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yep, that's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us on the program, a Fantasy Friday edition of the show. How about the Lamarck Automotive Complex? This program every day is brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And that's nice, but what's great about the Lamarck Automotive Complex is when you're looking for a new Ford or Lincoln vehicle, Ronnie Lamarck has you covered in Kenner with inventory, price, service. That's why the big store, Lamarck Ford, #1 in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, #1 Lincoln dealership in the state of Louisiana. In Kenner, on the car corner of I-10 and Williams. And now, across the parish, Ronnie Lamarck, under the Lamarck Automotive Complex umbrella, Crescent City Ford, the legendary truck and SUV dealership. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Women are often throwing clothing items at me saying you're the possessor of the cool factor. I have to fight off the ladies.
90 minutes of fun every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spots.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
I call Frank the Hammer Smith about 3 times a day. He always steers me in the right direction with his selections. I did a triple team parlay coupled with a trifecta and an exacta and rolled that into a over-under with a 7-team card coupled with You want to hear some interesting facts? The bookie wins if he's doing it right. The casino wins if they're doing it right. I love the guy that's like, no, dude, I got a friend who's a professional gambler. That's what he does for a living. Then where's his income come from? Because it doesn't come from gambling. One thing folks don't seem to understand, the house is not going to lose. If you beat them consistently, they'll no longer take your picks. There's no way gambling you win. It's impossible. There's no human being on planet Earth. I don't know if Jason or I went to the track one time, bet on a horse, won, never went back. I guess we're the ones that are ahead. Everyone else is behind except the bookie and the casino. I love the guys that talk about friends that are professional gamblers. He always wins, always makes money, blah, 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 blah. Must be a bookie. It's mathematically designed for the bookie, the casino, the house to win, and the consumer to lose. But it is a addiction type thing where you win 1 out of 10 times. That high is addictive. And then, like a lot of addictions, the low is what you crave. Don't ask me the psychology on that. You want to lose, so you feel alive. Only when you lose do you feel alive. Yeah, that's a little too deep for me. I hear you. But because it's the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, we have experts on the program, a PhD. We're bringing in a psychiatrist right now. Blue Boy, could you explain that losing is needed so you'll feel alive? No, but thank everybody for watching and listening. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Have a great Essence Fest. See you next week. Yeah, you right. Be safe.
You're on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.